On show 471, the Porsche Taycan first ride, Polestar 2 arrives in Europe, and Hyundai and Rimac? Those stories and many, many more coming up on today's show. So good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening. In fact, wherever you're listening around the world, welcome to EV News Daily, the edition for Tuesday, the 14th of May, 2019. My name is Martyn Lee. Thank you for listening today. I go through all the EV stories that I can find, and I try and wrap them up in 20 minutes every single day. You're joking. There's enough EV news every single day for a podcast. You better believe it. There's more than enough. Thank you as always to myev.com for helping me make this show. I was having a little surf around myev.com today and doing a bit of window shopping. Of course, no use to me. I'm in the UK, but if you're in the USA, you should be making the most of that, you lucky sausage, for having such an amazing resource. Let's kick off with a bit of congratulatory news to the team at VW, the Volkswagen ID.3. Less than a week after the start of pre-booking. Remember, not reservations, not configurations, they're calling it pre-booking. This is merely the right to buy the car. More than 15,000 registrations have now been received. That's already half of the total pre-booking volume of the first run of vehicles, 30,000 vehicles in total. Volkswagen has recorded the greatest interest from, where do you reckon? Drum roll please, have a guess. Germany, Norway, the Netherlands, the UK and Sweden are the top 5 markets. Moving on, and let's talk Porsche Taycan, however you want to say it. A first ride has hit the internet. Porsche recently granted Automobile Magazine a very rare test ride in what is called the Taycan Turbo. Yeah, if you think it's weird calling an EV a turbo, I'm right with you, because it doesn't have one. Anyway, the top-tier variant of their first all-electric car, says Simon at Teslarati. It's similar to other EVs in that the Taycan does regen braking. You got maximum regen braking on the Taycan though, and I didn't realise this, 250 kilowatts. That's impressive. 250 kilowatts of power going back into the battery when you really stamp on the slow pedal. Higher tier models will boost air suspension. Didn't know that. And rear wheel steering. That's kind of not common, but you do find that on things like the AMG Mercedes. Doesn't some of the AMG Mercedes do rear wheel steering up to about 100 kilometers an hour, and then it behaves differently? I don't know, I'm no expert on that, but that's kind of super interesting. Porsche are yet to fully announce the final specs of the Taycan. A brand ambassador did confirm, though, that the features and specs of each Taycan version seen by Automobile were true. According to the document, the base Taycan is rear-wheel drive only. It'll be equipped with an 80 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The base Taycan will be powered by a choice of either 322 or 375 horsepower motors, and it will command a price around $90,000. I'll pop a link to Teslarati in the show notes for you. Okay, moving on to the Mercedes-Benz EQC, a car I'm quite excited about and a car that I know is on the road right now. I saw Robert Llewellyn from the Fully Charged YouTube channel did a text post on YouTube saying I'm driving a car that I can't talk about at the moment, and I'm sure that's the Mercedes-Benz EQC. So I'm looking forward to hearing his take on that. Mercedes have published their own review. I think that's kind of, it's not weird, right? But they've called it a review, but like it's a Mercedes brand video. Like a review, I want to hear the good points, the points you could do differently, or like if it's Mercedes-Benz publishing their own review, it's not really a review, is it? It's just an unveiling, but they've called it a review. The YouTube description is thus: hop into the all-new Mercedes-Benz EQC 400 4MATIC. That's a mouthful. Step into the Mercedes-Benz EQC 400 4MATIC 2019 and let our host Felix Smith take you on a tour through the streets of Los Angeles, California. In the very first EQC test drive, we put the car through its paces, says the description of YouTube. Again, you'd have to be a mug to fall for this, because It's Mercedes. They're not putting the car through its paces, are they? So here it is. Everything you want to know about the features, the details of the first fully electric SUV by Mercedes-Benz. The two electric motors of the EQC 400 4MATIC 2019 produce 410 PS, good for 0 to 60 in 5.1 seconds. Much more to the vehicle than that, though. They've got the energy recuperation, the integrated MBUX system, gesture control, and it's worth having a look. I'll pop a link to YouTube in the show notes for you, and it's interesting to watch. Almost 20 minutes long. Done a great job with this, but they're not really putting it through its paces. I'm just being cheeky. Go and have a look. It's really good. So Moixa is a company that I've featured on this podcast before. Moixa make home storage batteries. They do insanely intelligent stuff with algorithms and smart energy usage. A UK company, and now Moixa has announced the completion of a multi-million-pound funding round in which a collection of global investors led by Honda have backed Moixa's vision for the future, says Utility Week. The £8.6 million funding round will be used to support the company's plans for international growth and expansion of its current businesses. They do home batteries, they manage EVs with smart charging and aggregating batteries to provide grid services. And if you think that's like a who's who of current buzzwords, you would be right. No wonder people want to invest in that. Moving on to Volvo's Polestar brand. The Polestar 1, always a high-end kind of proof of concept, really, the first one that the car company are doing. Besides, it's got a big engine in. The Polestar 2 is basically their offering against the Tesla Model 3 and the VW ID3. Polestar announced the launch of Polestar 2 going on tour in Europe this month to present its first all-electric cars ahead of them going on sale next year. According to an Inside EVs article today, the first two locations are Gothenburg in Sweden from the 22nd to the 24th of May and Stockholm from the 30th of May to the 2nd of June. Well, the roadshow will be conducted in 15 cities across Europe all the way through till October 2019. In June, Polestar will arrive in the Netherlands and Belgium, followed by the UK in July, Germany in August and September, Norway in October. Exact dates and locations will be listed on the company's website. I'll pop a link to Inside EVs down there in the show notes. So it turns out everyone wants a piece of Rimac, a very hot company in the world of EVs. Not least Hyundai and Kia. So what do these South Koreans want with Rimac? They have today announced they're investing 80 million euros in the Croatian EV hypercar maker. They supply the likes of Aston Martin and Koenigsegg, says topgear.com today. What's the aim? They're calling it a technical partnership. They will see the companies collaborate on two, not one, but two high-performance EVs in 2020. A press release issued by the company said that Hyundai, Kia and Rimac will work closely together to develop an electric version of Hyundai Motors' N brand midship sports car and a high-performance fuel cell electric vehicle. I'll throw a link to Top Gear down there in the show notes if you want to read more. Thank you to everyone, by the way, who subscribes to this podcast, either in podcast form in the usual places like Apple Podcasts, like Google Podcasts and Spotify. And for those that listen to the audio on YouTube, I know, it's a weird thing, right? Audio on YouTube, no videos, no visuals. It's just my logo and the myev.com logo, but still over 1,000 people do every single day. So however you're listening, thank you for that and for subscribing. And you can get the podcast every single day if you do that. It's a free subscription. So moving on to Amsterdam in the Netherlands, they launched this month Flex Power. It's the largest smart charging network for EVs, which maximises the use of renewable energy. It lowers the need for investments in the grid and accelerates charging during off-peak periods, says Mark Kane for InsideEVs.com today. Well, the project is conducted by Vattenfall and the City of Amsterdam together, with the grid owner, the infrastructure centre and the Amsterdam University all getting together to do a joint project on this. So what's it all about? Well, it's 456 charging stations with 912 charging points. That's a third of all of them in Amsterdam. And they have been upgraded, so more powerful, and they're connected to Flex Power. What that does is gives them control over the charging stations. They get knowledge about the current production of local renewable energy sources, that's mostly solar in that part of the world actually, and the demand of electricity as well. They can forecast it, they can limit charging power during peak periods, they can increase the charging power during off-peak periods, and they can accelerate the charging and they can do that more when renewables are on the grid. A really interesting idea, and a way that, we just think about electric cars because they're just amazing to drive and think about. But there's so many other bits to it that are just going to change. Like, our kids are going to grow up in a world that is just so different. Moving on to Range Rover, and new details from Land Rover. This autumn, an extremely significant 2-year period of consolidation and expansion for Land Rover. They will define the brand over the next couple of years as Autocar. A great deal of activity is related not just to the launch of new vehicles, but increased electrification. The pure electric vehicles are some years away, with sibling brand Jaguar leading the group with the I-Pace. New Land Rover models, though, coming from later this year, would all be offered with a hybrid or plug-in. We like that more. Give us the plug. Plug-in drivetrains. They're hybrids, but they've got a plug. We like that, allowing them to leave some of their diesel difficulties behind. I like that. We should start a hashtag trending on Twitter, hashtag diesel difficulties. And finally, Volkswagen. I'll leave you with this one because it's a funny story. It made me smile. Volkswagen's CEO, Herbert Diess, recently asked about his insights on the American electric car maker Tesla during an appearance on a podcast by Die Welt. The VW boss, to his credit, was very candid. He said that Tesla is a pioneer in the electric vehicle market. It's the one that drives Volkswagen. Tesla is driving Volkswagen in several areas. However, then he did turn it around a bit. Despite that, he noted that VW has a thing or two that can catch up to Tesla, says Teslarati today, and Herbert Diess noted that he hopes Tesla will survive. He says this, and I quote, "I hope that Tesla survives because, of course, it's an incentive and an impulse for us." So there you go, end quote. That is what Tesla do to VW. They're an incentive and an impulse. He did then later add, though, that while Tesla, has established itself in the market, the head start is not unassailable. He explained that as a small, focused company, Tesla has advantages, but when it comes to its battery and autonomous driving technologies, that's where Tesla stands out. And we like this new, slightly more humble VW leadership, certainly giving praise where it's due, but also saying, hey, we're serious, we're catching up ourselves. We like that. Let's move on to our question of the week this week, and it's an interesting one. You can't sit on the fence with this one, please. What's more important, hardware or software? When you're buying an EV, hardware or software? What do you want to get right? You can't sit on the fence. You can't say both go hand in hand. I know they do. I'm making you pick. I'm being mean like that this week. Email me, hello@evnewsdaily.com. Pop a comment on the YouTube or Facebook section. On to the endy bit then. There are 470 previous shows online which you can listen to for free. Get the new ones for free as well. Hit that subscribe button on any of those platforms that you choose to listen to. And then if you can leave a little review on Apple Podcasts, that would be super amazing. Other people see those reviews, they think, it looks like an interesting podcast, and they listen, then we spread the word, more people drive EVs, and we all win. If you can leave a review, that'd be amazing. In the meantime, catch up on my socials by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you tomorrow. And remember, there's no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.